Good afternoon. Welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation podcast live, guys. This is the transfer pod. We're going to talk over the targets. We're going to talk over the prospective moves. We're going to talk over some reports and rumours that are in today's media. Obviously, we've got the final word later, which will look back more on the week that was and the games that we've played and look ahead to the Hearts game. But we're going to focus solely today on transfers, on rumours, on reports, on what is going on at Rangers. Poll is currently running as well in the live chat, guys. If you want to vote in that poll, please do so. Is Lawrence Shankland a realistic target for Rangers this summer? Right, we're going to talk, like I said, about everything that is going on at this moment in time. Alan Austin wants Rachmani and doesn't want Johan Jordan. Rachmani is a big yes, plus Inyase from Young Boys instead of Jordan, says Ian McCutcheon. It's scary. We need two CBs. Realistically, guys, you think we're going to bring in much more in? Yep, totally agree. Two centre-backs required. Alan Austin makes a great point here. Thursday is the Champions League qualifier squad submittal deadline. Next 72 hours should be frantic. I think that could be a great point. You know, the fact that we do need to obviously put the squad in to UEFA by the 1st of August. And this squad, I think, is a long, long way short of being a squad that can compete to get us into the Champions League, especially if you consider how good Dynamo Kiev genuinely are. They absolutely smashed Partizan 6-2 the other day. So, you know, there's some interesting thoughts out there. You know, this is a big one. Jessica says, what about the Man United midfielder news on him? We're going to talk through all these options today. Back in Clermont, even if that means we lose the league, which I think we will anyways, but can't keep sacking managers. Great manager couldn't work with this dross, says Aldo. Right, so look, this is where are we up to with this whole rumor mill, this whole story, this whole thing. So let's start off with the Joan, whatever he's called, Joan Jordan. He's going to be Joan Jordan. Let's face it. I mean, his name is Joan Jordan. I mean, we are all British. We all speak the King's English, and it is Joan. Let's face it, that's his name, Joan Jordan. That's what we're going to call him from now on. Now, it is reported in. This was what was reported in the Spanish media last night. So this is the Spanish media reporting this. I'm going to read it in Spanish to you, then I will give you the English translation of this. Yeah, you know, I don't expect you all to have to speak Spanish to get this. El Sevilla FC ha aceptado la oferta de Rangers, está a la espera del sí definido de Jordan. La sesión incluirá una opción de compra no obligatoria de 4 million euro. So, what does that mean? That's what you're all saying. What the fuck does that actually mean? It's Spanish. Yes, it is Spanish. So it says Sevilla have accepted the offer from Rangers for a loan for Jordan. It is waiting for the definitive answer from Jordan. The deal includes an option to buy, not an obligation, at 4 million euro, which is around 3.4 million pounds. So that is what is being reported. So it's not a situation where if we do get him on loan, we have to buy him. We have to buy him in the summer next year. Okay, so it's not a definite. It's not an obligation to buy. Okay, so the difference between that and the Cortez deal, the Diamande deal, was that when we signed Diamande back in January, when we signed Cortez this summer, they are both obligations to buy, which means we are borrowing your player and we will buy your player next summer, or, you know, in the case of Diamande, we'll buy him this summer. So we've obviously got that situation. So Joan Jordan is not an obligation. It is an option to buy. So that if he comes in, if in 12 months' time we sit here and we go, you know what, we don't want him. It's not for us. Sorry, guys. See you later, Jordan. That's not a problem. Okay, we're not going to be in breach of contract. We're not going to be in trouble. So you know that is the situation with here. Dell says, did he not say he didn't want to come? If that's the case, I wouldn't want him here. No way we should be paying that much for someone over 30. Pablo Bar says Juan doesn't want to come, so why bother with another player who won't give 100%? Malky, good afternoon. Malky, how you did? Kayla, I speak a little bit of Spanish. I also have Google Translate, mate, which is really good. So there you go. Free Tommy. Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree on that one. Dessa's second goal was nice. Dessa's second goal was us. But we'll speak about the games, like I said. Although I'm shocked at the news, everyone thinks shit for us taking the blue specs off. Celtic look very sharp. Yeah, Celtic do look very good, mate. They do actually look very good. But look, this is the situation. So Jordan, Sevilla have accepted the offer. Okay, so the transfer deal has been accepted by Sevilla. It is now to obviously negotiation with the player. Now, original reports coming out of Spain was that Jordan wanted to remain in Spain. That if you look at Jordan's career, he's played all of his career in Spain. He's had time with obviously Sevilla, he's had time with Espanyol. However, Sevilla are in a very difficult financial position. Sevilla are 40 million over the financial regulations that govern Spanish transfers. Spanish have moved. The Spanish FA have moved the rules in terms of Spanish transfer rules. So in Spain, it's called 1-for-1. So you can only spend €1 for every €1 you generate. So you can't spend 32 million euros if you haven't generated 32 million euros. Sevilla are 40 million over that 1-for-1 at this moment in time. So they are in danger of some sort of sanction from the Spanish league. They've allowed 2 players to leave already. So getting Jordan off their wages, getting Jordan out of their club is what they need. The Spanish PSR, FFP, whatever you want to call it. In England, we call it in England, it's called PSR. So, and it seems that every league is adopting a different rule as regards PSR. In the English Premier League, in the EFL Championship, it's 82%. You can spend 82% of your revenue on player wages, player transfers, etc. In Spain, it's 1-for-1. So if you generate 100 million euros, you can spend 100 million euros. If you generate 10 million euros, you can spend 10 million euros. But the Spanish currently with Sevilla are 40 million euro over their deal. So they need Jordan gone. Now, yes, there is talk that he is waiting for. Hopefully, it's been said that he wants to go back to Espanyol, but Espanyol apparently are not in a position to bring in Jordan. They just have not got the financial wherewithal at this moment in time to bring this player in. So this is where we're at now. I don't look. It was reported that he wanted to stay in Spain. Okay, now look, you can kind of understand that realistically. That if we had a player, that wanted to remain in his native country and he's looking for a move within his native country, then fair enough. But I think, there is a real possibility now. Jordan, it's kind of hit home to him that with Sevilla, they don't want him. They can't afford him, that he needs to be moved on. But look, it's still a situation where it seems that there is an agreement in place for Jordan. Now, like I said, it is dependent solely on the fact, does Joan Jordan want to come to Rangers? That is the question. So for me, there is positives and negatives to this deal, and I'd love to know what you think about this. So the positives are that this is a guy who is a real six. He's he's someone who is a ball winner. He's a guy who's going to turn the ball over for us. He's a guy who's going to win the ball back for us. He's going to be that wrecker that we perhaps haven't got at this moment in time. But the one thing that worries me as regards Jordan, well, there's actually 2 things that worry me as regards Jordan. Number 1 is he's 30 years old. Signing him on a 3-year contract, he's going to be 32, 33. Are we not going to have a discussion within the next 12 to 18 months? Is he too old? Has he gone past his best? There is always a worrying point where some players can play through 32, 34 and look no different. Some players, James Tavernier, Golden, for example, hit 31, 32, and seemed to fall off a cliff. I mean, you take the example of Gary Neville in England, at Manchester United. As soon as he hit over 30, there was just a point where he just seemed to lose speed. He wasn't the same player. And I remember he talked about him asking Alex Ferguson to take him off at half time in the game against West Brom at the Hawthorns because his legs had gone. So there's always that worry. It's a lot of money to outlay on a player who is 30 years old and also has never played outside of Spain. Now, that is a slight issue for me. William, I'm going to get to William's point, and I'll get to you. If we look at his career at this point, his vast majority of his football has come in La Liga. 219 appearances in La Liga. He's played 35 times in La Liga 2, 32 Copa del Rey appearances. He has played Champions League football. He has played Europa League football. So that is essentially positive, that he's got that European experience. Um, so, look, I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? That, like I said, that is the worrying thing there. Two UEFA Super Cup appearances, because obviously Sevilla have won the UEFA Cup on a number of the Europa League on a number of occasions. So 412 appearances in total for Sevilla. All those appearances have come either in Europe or in uh, La Liga. That is a slight concern for me, the fact that he has not played any football outside of Spain. You know, we all know that there is a huge difference between Spanish football, French football, German football, Italian football, and British football. You look at the SPL, you look at the EFL, you look at the EPL, and the difference in the intensity and the speed that is played at in Britain is compared to on the continent is massive, is huge. And you often find that when players come to England, they struggle because they're not used to this million miles an hour. They're not used to the kicking they get, the physicality. And we know in Scotland we're a target. We know Rangers are a huge target for all the hammer throwers across the nation. The St Johnsons of this world, the Hibs of this world, basically just want to spend 80, 90 minutes in the shit out of our players because that's the way they think they're going to beat us. That is a worry for me as regards Jordan. I do think that he is a player who has experience. So he can bring that to the party. He is a winner of the ball winner. He's a winner in terms of his career as well. He's won the Europa League. He knows how to win in Europe. He's got that experience. There are positives and negatives to the deal. Now, the reports that are emanating from our media and from Spanish media is that this will be done within the next 24 to 48 hours. Expect an announcement Monday or Tuesday on Jordan. So we should know by the end of Tuesday, realistically, is this a definite or is it not a definite that he is going to be coming in? Like I said, there's positives and negatives to this deal for me. William says they were 40 million over supposedly, but they've just sold a player for 20 million and signed two players in. They're still 40 million over. That's been reported in La Marca, which is the Spanish paper over there. I hope so, Robert. Would love that to be the case. Should we not see what Bordeaux players are like? It's that one. Yeah, that's a great shout. Hopefully, that is something that is being looked at. What happened to Bordeaux? Scott, they went bust. Historic club like Bordeaux have gone bust and have renounced their professional status. Uh, Guys, we'll talk about Jack Butland and we'll talk about the form of the players in tonight's final word, guys. I want to focus on transfers in this pod. Niasse is playing for Young Boys today. Interesting, he wasn't in the Euro squad though, maybe so he doesn't get cup tied. Niasse has kind of died. That kind of rumor hasn't been around for at least a week to 10 days now. So that's not one that keeps coming back up. The Jordan one is one that came up, died, come back again. Look at the moves that we've made and the players that we've signed. These are rumours that have come, gone, come back again, come, gone, come back again. And I don't think there's any legs in the Niasse one, if I'm being honest at this moment. I think if we get Jordan, Niasse will not come. I would be defensive, was in front of me all day. Might be more about Butler, but like I said, what about move away from Jordan and get someone who wants to come. Like I said, that's what has been reported. Lol, I don't know. Toombs makes a great point here. We need a dominant centre half to settle the defence. We are going to talk about that, absolutely. Scott says, Jordan on a big wage, what we will pay 30k a week for. Thought we need to use the wage bill. Robert, that is an insult, man. That is an absolute insult. Mate, I thought you were friends, mate. I thought me and you were friends, Robert, calling me Joe Biden. I mean, that's disgusting. I'd be never to recognise that defensive with me, although. Sorry, Adrian. Didn't talk about Bordeaux as well. Scotland's been overhyped. Guys, we're going to have some real focus on that. What else we got here? We've got a comment here. More nervous about the season. William says, "How do people know he doesn't want to come to Scotland? They don't. They just paper talk." Like I said, that is what has been reported in the Spanish media. We can, these are all stories that are on the way round. Let's keep going on it. There's lots of comments. Look at the microphone settings. I found my microphone correctly. I do apologise if you think it is. What's wrong with it? It's running on the right one. Okay. let's have a little think about what's going on then. So, Joe. Okay, guys. So, what's the deal with Hannibal? Boys could play with fitting well with us. So, Hannibal, where are we up to with the whole Hannibal situation? As far as I'm aware, when it comes to Hannibal, um, Hannibal is player that, for me, it's being negotiated and it's still ongoing. There's no update as far as Hannibal is concerned. There's nothing out there as regards Hannibal. Uh, what is wrong with this microphone? Let me reset the microphone. Hopefully that's a little bit better. Guys, I hope that's a little bit better maybe now. Let me know what you think of the microphone now. Um, does it work? Okay, so look, where are we up to with Hannibal? Hannibal, I don't think Hannibal thing is still, it is still being discussed. There's no update as regards Hannibal at this moment in time. I don't think it's close to a here we go situation. I don't think it's close to you know genuine a genuine purchase yet. What there is a complication with Hannibal. The complication is that Hannibal is apparently on Manchester United for sale list. Um, that's what is the rumor. Apparently, on a for sale list. So where are we up to with that? Manchester United apparently are more wanting to sell him. That's what the problem is, that they want a permanent deal for Hannibal. That's where the worry is at this moment in time, that Rangers want it to be a loan, and are not looking at an obligation to buy, and not looking at you know, any sort of definite deal for Hannibal. Manchester United, on the other hand, do want this to be a permanent deal. They are a team now, I think, that are looking to generate some income. They're looking to generate some money. They have been, buying a lot of players recently. They've obviously brought in Lenny Yoro, they've brought in Xerxes. They're looking at Matthias de Ligt. They're looking at spending a lot of money. Hannibal's present market value is about £10 million. So 10 million is a bit too much for me for us to spend on a player that isn't really proven at this level. Hannibal's been decent, but is he £10 million worth of decent? Is he a player that Rangers are going to risk 10 million on? For me, that's a big worry. So, that's where he's up to. Yeah, Sevilla did knock back 17 million. I think the thing there, Scott, is like I said with Sevilla, they're in a financial situation where they can't afford to splash 17 million euro or 17 million pounds, uh, on a new player. Guys, I will have a look into a new mic. I do apologise. Mic shit tip again. I'm going to switch. Hang on, let me just switch. Let me switch mics to see if it's any better for you. Any, any better? Yeah, that's the internet's fine at the moment, Adrian. Let me know if that mic's any better for you. I've changed microphones. Hannibal, yeah, great joke, John. I like that joke. That's a good joke, isn't it? Um, Look, we can loan him. Man United could take him back at Christmas and sell him. However, we can have someone coming in January. Bosman, that could be a situation. That's even worse, apparently. Okay, right. Let's switch mics again. That's a little bit. I don't. I don't think Hannibal is going to come in. I just genuinely don't think that's a realistic signing for me. I genuinely think that is one that isn't going to come off at the moment. Uh, yeah, look, I think that Hannibal is one that was rumored, but I think given the fact that Manchester United want a permanent deal, I don't think Hannibal is going to come back. No, John. According to the Spanish media, it is that he is going to sign. He is going to sign for us. So. Um, That's next 24 to 48 hours, John. That's the rumor with the whole Joanne Jordan situation. It's a next 24 to 48 hours. Um, I just think, Adrian, why don't I think it's realistic? Because I think at the end of the day, I just can't see us spending that much money. Manchester United are not going to let him. They want a permanent deal for him. That's the situation. Man United want a permanent deal for him. Yes, he's only got a year left on his contract, but what you've got to understand is when English clubs are selling players, they still will sell players for 9, 10 million pounds, even in the final years of their contract. I mean, take last year, for example, Ross Stewart, injury prone Ross Stewart, with 12 months left on his deal, was sold from Sunderland to Southampton for £10 million. £10 million. So even in England, it's a situation where even if you've only got a year left on your deal, you're still going to be costing teams 9, 10, 11, 12 million pounds. So that is that is the situation down here south of the border. There is a massive English tax. There is a huge uplift on the value of any player owned by an English club. So for me, I just can't see Hannibal being delivered. I just can't see us spending that amount of money. Not if money is as tight as it's been said. People are talking about the fact that that we've got to sell to buy. We haven't got vast amounts of money. So I think splending and splurging, 7, 8, 9, 10 million pounds on a player that isn't really proven at this level, hasn't really done anything yet where you'd go, yes, wow, fantastic, top player. Um, you know, I can't see it happening. Alan says here, Copenhagen were rumored to have offered 6 million on a loan with obligation to buy. That was rejected. I would take Jordan if the wage is doable, only an option to buy, not an obligation to buy. That's the current vote in the poll. 52% of you at the moment are saying that you don't want Jordan. 48% are saying that you do want him. So there you go. That's where we're up to on the whole Hannibal situation at this moment in time. Right, I think it's time that we grasped the nettle. Let's grasp the nettle. Let's talk Lawrence Shankland. Right, so Lawrence Shankland. Now, look, Lawrence Shankland is a top striker, right? I don't think there's any doubt in my mind or in anyone's mind that this is a lad that wherever he goes, scores goals. Okay. And I know people talk about the fact that it's different playing for Rangers to playing for Dundee United or playing for Hearts or playing for St Mirren or playing for whoever. Okay. And it is different. Yeah, I get that because the pressure on a Rangers player, the pressure on a Rangers team, the way teams defend against us, the way teams put their set up against us is very different to anything that that people will have experienced in their career. That's just where it's at. But you look at Shankland, 59 goals in 94 games for Hearts, 40 goals in 74 games for Dundee United. That's 99 goals that he scored in 168 games. That's better than 1 in 2. I'm forgetting Ayr and St Mirren and Queen's Park. I'm talking about these top level goals. This is a guy who knows where the goal is. This is a guy who can put the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis for for domestic teams in Scotland. Now, look, Scott, we are going to talk defenders. Don't worry. Hart hold out for a good price for him. Would take Shankland. I think it would have happened already if it was going to. Shankland not happening. Been talk about him for months. Getting boring now. Hearts will hold us to ransom. We've got here, get Shankland done. We need him, have him sign when he was at Ayr United. That's a good position. Scott, there's a lot of other positions absolutely do need addressing. But yeah, look, the Shankland thing. Now, it's been said that this is what Heart and Hand are saying, right? So Heart and Hand were asked about the whole Shankland thing, right? Now, I'm not saying that Heart and Hand are experts. I'm not saying that they know everything, okay? Because at the end of the day, Heart and Hand, are a club partner. David Edgar, Martin Ramsey, people like that do have a lot more in the know, ITK in the know knowledge than people like me or the Rabble or the Rangers Journal or whoever. So they are saying that this would be very difficult to get done. They feel at this point in time, okay, very, very, very much don't see this getting done at this moment in time. Now, the report is that they want 3 million. That's where Hearts are putting their base at 3 million. That is the talk. Yeah, 3 million Shankland is in the door. But the worry me is that there's nothing that's emanating from the club. Um, yes, they are absolutely legendary, absolutely Stem and CJ. Yeah, look, Dougie, I absolutely. I'm going to say, can we just make one thing absolutely clear before I carry on? I love Heart and Hand. I love David Edgar. I love Martin Ramsey. I love all the guys and the girls on Heart and Hand, Caroline and Marina. Heart and Hand are amazing, and they've supported this channel. They've helped me out. They've sent guests on. They've been brilliant. So Heart amazing, unbelievable. CJ Novo is a legend. I would love to be like CJ Novo one day. I would love to be CJ. CJ is just an absolute legend. He's a ledge, absolute ledge. So there you go. 3 million for Shanklin. Hearts will take it. I think this is the situation because for me, Shanklin is a £3 million player at this point in time. He's in the last year of his contract. Hearts have tried to sign him. Hearts have tried to give him a new deal, but he said no. He said no to all these deals. He doesn't want anything to do with this contract. Okay, I honestly think that Shankland is in a situation whereby if Rangers come in for him in the next week, 10 days, in this window, he will move. If Rangers don't come in for him in this window, I think he will hold on and he'll wait till next summer and he'll look to go for free somewhere because he'll want to obviously get that big payday that you get when you become a Bosman transfer. So, realistically, we do need, I think, to get a striker. Now, the only thing is, at this moment in time, we have Danilo, we have Dessers, and we have Igman. Yes, Igman is here, apparently. He is not a figment of someone's imagination. He is genuinely training one-on-one with club coaches, with club fitness and strength guys. He is not a figment of someone's imagination. He is a genuine person. So we have 3 strikers on the books, right? Now, Danilo, I've read a lot about Danilo, and I've read a lot of negativity about Danilo. But I would love to know, what is this negativity about Danilo actually based on? I saw a comment this morning on X, and I know that social media is just a place of just pure poison at times, but people saying Dessers is a better player than Danilo based on what? Based on the fact that Dessers has played a full season and that Danilo's played 9 games, I think it is, for Rangers. Danilo had an absolutely injury-ravaged season last year. He was destroyed by injury, right? He really suffered. It's too early, and yes, people say he's been pish in pre-season, but he's been out for 7 months. You can't expect a player to come back after 7 months out with a major injury and just all of a sudden be a top-level talent. Just doesn't happen. I think I mentioned on a previous video, guys, that you go back across. They did a study in the NFL. And the NFL, there's a lot of physicality. There's a lot of hard running, twisting, turning. Yes, it's only in short bursts, but there's still a lot of intensive work in the NFL. So what they did this study where it said that it takes 12 to 18 months from you to fully recover from an ACL injury to get back to where you were, if you ever are going to get back to where you were after an ACL. So, to expect Danilo after only 7 months to be back at it and back on top level, I think is just very unrealistic. It's going to take Danilo at least another 5-6 months, I think, to be back at anywhere near the level he was when he joined the club. So I think he's a player that's going to need time to get back to his fitness levels, time to get back to his sharpness, time to be back where we need him to be. So I think we can't really draw judgment on Danilo at this point in time. It's unfair on him. It's unfair on the club. It's a situation we need to look at. Dessers has looked decent in that last game, but across pre-season, he's looked poor. That may be because his fitness is suddenly improving. He's getting back to full fitness. I don't know. But still, I have a worry about relying on Dessers long term. His reliability to put the ball in the back of the net on a consistent basis and not miss chances as he did last season. That'll upset Jonas from Four Lads, who is like the president of the Serial Dessers fan club. So Shankland obviously is the name that just keeps coming up and up and up again. So look, 3 million apparently is the top, but like I said, David Edgar is saying that this is unreal. This is going to be a hard one to get across the line. Right, I'll give you my opinion on it in a moment. Let's just get through some of your comments, guys. As you know, I like to obviously get through what you're telling me, what you're saying, your thoughts. 192 watching, guys. Please obviously smash that like. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, guys, we're only 11 away from hitting 6,100, so obviously help us get there. We're paying more than 2 million, though, mainly Shankland to force Hearts' hand, though. Good point, Clark. I think that's the thing. I think if he was to go to Hearts and say, "I want to leave, I want to move, I want to go," absolutely. Yeah, why not spend the Lammers money and you'll get guaranteed goals with Shanks? But then I suppose you could say, has the Lammers money not already been spent on Tierney or Tierney signing on? I don't know. I don't know. Um, yeah, Alan, I think that one is massively, massively unrealistic. Hugely unrealistic, I'll be honest with you. Um, I cannot see that happening at all. I mean, apparently Strasbourg had a 16 million euro offer rejected for George. So I realistically, if 16 million is being rejected by Porto for a player, guys, we're not going to get him. We're not going to get him. Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. There. Not in 16 million. Um, Scott, this is what I was going to get onto when I'm giving my opinion here. Scott says, "Does Clement want Shankland? That's the most important question. We fans ain't the manager." This is a great point. This is a great point for me. Great point. Does Clement even want Shanks? I don't think he does. I genuinely don't think he does. Um, I genuinely can't see it happening. If I'm being really honest, I genuinely cannot see that one happening. I genuinely think that it's highly unrealistic that Shankland will come to Rangers this summer. I just don't think that Clement sees Shankland as an option. I I hear all the media talk, I read all the reports, and I think with the Shankland thing, a lot of it is clickbait. I think a lot of it is trying to get Rangers fans interested in it. I think a lot of it is Rangers fan driven. I really don't think that it is a deal where we're looking at actually it happening. I just, for me, can't see it happening. If you said to me, Owen, put your own money on who the three starting strikers will be at the end of the transfer window. Um, I would say at the end of this transfer window, our strikers will be Danilo, Dessers, and Igman, and Lovelace possibly. Okay, I genuinely think that will be the case. If you ask me to use my own money and bet my own money, I think at the end of this transfer window, Rangers strike force will be Danilo, Dessers, Igman, and it will be Lovelace possibly. I genuinely don't think that Shankland is a realistic option. Like I said, a lot of what I am reading, I think, is designed to get Rangers fans clicking. I think a lot of it is designed to pull Rangers fans in. I think a lot of it is fan driven rather than it actually be the club. Now, I know, yeah, I get John Lammy. I heard that one. I've read that one as well. Owen says Barry Ferguson said the interest in Shankland is real. Look, I don't know if it is from Coppen and Shankland, Coppen and Clement. Sorry, I just, for me, I can't see it happening. I think it would have happened back in January. I think it would have happened by now if Shankland was actually coming to the club. I don't think he is. I just think that Rangers at the moment, if you look at the rumours, the reports that are out there about players we're interested in, there's obviously the Rachmani deal, there's the Jordan deal, there's these rumours that are going around at the moment. But I can't see at the moment Shankland being an option. Look, personally speaking, I would love Lawrence Shankland to be an option. I'd love him to be an option. I think he's a great player. I think he will score goals. I think he could be Chris Boyd. You know, if you look at Chris Boyd, when he came to the club, yes, he wasn't great in Europe, but he scored goals in the SPL, and that's what we needed him for, to score the goals in the SPL to win us the league. So for me, of course I would. Let's look at some of your comments. I will say again, Shankland's not asked for a move. I'm more than worried. I see our legacy disappearing, says Alex. We've got a comment here from Adrian says, Duffy, we are in a rebuild while Celtic are cracking on. You can't expect a lot this season. I mean, that is the worrying thing. I think Celtic, people said, oh, well, Celtic haven't signed anybody. But then if you look at that Celtic team that played last night, then and beat Chelsea 4-1, I think it was, or 4-0 or whatever it was. They haven't sold anyone in particular. They've still got Matt O'Reilly. They've still got Callum McGregor. They've still got Rio Hatate. They've still got Maida, Kyogo. They've still got all those players. And they're probably bringing in Ida as well. So for me, I do genuinely think that that they don't need a lot of rebuild. They don't need a lot of signings. Rangers are interested. I think there's a reluctance from the board due to his age and availability for a free. If they wait, that could be the case, mate. That could be the case. Club at 22 said Rangers should have bid 500,000 at the start of the window for Shanks and taken it from there. Yeah, I mean, that's a decent shout. You know, the fact the guy's out of contract, the fact the guy is you know, his contract is running down. Yeah, I think that would have been a decent look for me, but I don't think they want him. There's never been one bit of contact with Lawrence previously or recently. If there is any interest, it must have came on the last day. Yeah, that's just what I'm saying, William. And if you go back to my videos that I made in January about transfers and about signing players, I said that I would love Lawrence Shankland to sign for Rangers. I'd love Claylab, that's funny, mate. I would love him to come to the club. Of course I would. But realistically, you know, this is where we're up to. I don't think he's going to come. I genuinely don't. I think it would have happened by now if it was going to happen. I don't think Shankland would ask for a transfer. Hearts have been really good to him and him to them. Agreed. Well, if you think we are blown away, please don't go and watch them, says Scott. What else have we got here? Shankland would be an amazing signing for Stephen. I agree. He would be a brilliant signing for us, but I just don't think it's an option at this moment in time. I genuinely don't think that Rangers will announce him any point soon. I just genuinely think this is one that isn't going to happen. Okay, right. Let's move it along away from the old Shankland. Move it on. Okay, so we need to talk about one of them. We are going to talk a little bit of Todd. I'm going to talk a little bit of Todd as well in this transfer pod. Let's talk about the defense. Right, realistically, you know, the defense needs work, right? And we'll look at the defense in a bit more depth on the final word tonight. But, you know, that was the starting back for yesterday. Okay, that was the defense yesterday. And if that's the defense that goes into that first game against Hearts, it gives me the fear. It gives me the absolute fear. Hefte and Tav can't defend to save their lives. They're genuinely both dreadful at defending. Hefte, I'm not so worried about because I think if he's taken out the firing line, if he's coached, he can be improved. Not so worried. Tav, for me, I know this gets me slaughtered. It's time for him to go. He's been a good servant. He's done well going forward. Defensively, he is shocking. He needs to go. Davis and Suter are not commanding centre-halves. They are not dominating centre-halves. Now, I know there's only so much Big Phil can say. Now, Big Phil, after the game yesterday, came out and he said, you know, he came out and said, well, look, you know, there's nothing wrong with the defence. They're improving. They're getting better, etc., etc. But I'll be honest with you. We need a defend. We need defenders. We need a right back. Yes, I think, you know, Dujon Sterling, if fit, can be our starting right back. Got no doubts. The guy is great going forward. He's good defending. He's solid. He never shirks a tackle. He tracks. So, you know, that is and yes, Adrian, that was one of the things I've read as well. And that is fucking scaring the absolute bejesus out of me. It absolutely is scaring the bejesus out of me. Reports today saying Clermont expects Tav to be with us this season. Yeah, that's just awful. That is just genuinely bad news. If he is with us this season, it is going to be awful. It is going to be genuinely bad. The guy is just absolutely awful. I mean, he can't defend anymore. But the defense is so badly in need of a rebuild. Now, what's worrying me is the fact that, you know, if you look at what analysts, coach fans, everyone's saying about this massive overhaul. But why is it that none of the names that are being linked with us at this moment in time, none of the players that are out there, you know, the Rahmani, Shankland, Jordan, Tierney, who's now signed, none of those players are even, you know, they're not defenders. Why are there no defenders? You know, why is there no one out there, you know, that we're actually interested in? Why are we not seeing any defenders out there that have been linked with a move to Rangers? Now, surely Nsiala can't be the only defender we're going to sign this summer. I mean, Clem himself has said that Nsiala's not a starter. He's not someone he's going to look to start. I really do think that that we need a centre back and we need a right back. We need a right back to back up Sterling, who has had a number of injuries recently. I think that's down to wear and tear on Sterling because he's not used to obviously playing this level of game. But look, I think we do need to get someone. And what we need is a really commanding, dominating centre half. And the fact we're not even been linked with one I mean, look, we can criticise Michael Beale all we want. And Beale was a shit coach and he was an awful manager. But at least we were linked with Panzo and Trusty. And there was people out there we thought may be realistic options for us. The fact there's no centre backs now. I've heard Scott McKenna mentioned. I don't want that man anywhere near our football club. Number one, he's a Celtic fan and hates us. And number two, he's not even that good. So, Scott McKenna, I think, is one we rule out straight away. But the defence gives me the absolute fear at this moment in time. Ali says, I would play Kelly, sell Butland if anyone daft enough to pay top dollar. Guys overrated, ball distribution is terrible. John Vieto says, if it's true that about Tav, then it's going to be a toxicity central at our club. Dougie says Butland is injured. That's why he never played the Birmingham game. What else have we got here? No time for sentimentality. Tav needs to go. Yeah, this is what. Yeah, I agree. With Alan's comment here, what else is he going to say? He's not going to come out and say no, he's going and he doesn't want to be here. At the end of the day, yeah, I mean, if he does stay, Adrian, I think there would be a rotation between him and Sterling. I genuinely do. But look, for me, it's worrying. Tav shouldn't be in discussions now. Loved him, but he's reached the end of his range, and the goals he cost us over the seasons has been cruel to watch. What else have we got? Yes, Butland has been injured since the last game of the season, guys. We need a commanding leader. We do need a commanding leader. And it's not for anybody goes on about it being Connor Goldson, and we're missing Connor Goldson. Don't talk such absolute crap about that one. If Butland is injured, then Kelly should have played v Berlin. If Butland is, we do still need to get the squad size down. The squad is still too big, far too big. It's shocking why we haven't strengthened the defense. I agree, John. We do need to strengthen the defense. Sterling, yes. Tav, no. Get some Italian giant then there. Adrian, wouldn't you love an ammo back? Wouldn't you love somebody like a Lorenzo Amoruso? But could you imagine how much a Lorenzo Amoruso would cost these days? How much would you have to pay for a Lorenzo Amoruso these days? I mean, Jesus, it would be crazy, wouldn't it? It would be crazy. Take a new Craig Moore for me. Big Aussie, love that guy. Yeah, absolutely. What else have we got here? Only Rid Van Balogun all right at the back. Sterling always injured, says Ali Quinn. What else have we got? Alan Austin says here, Affengruber, where he's going, Bet Trabzonspor offering him a wedge. We need to get in the race for him. That's obviously a player that we've identified. Scott Hammond says here, would be sad to see how toxic it would become if Tav stays and we're watching the same mistakes. Agree on that 100%. Helander went back to Helander's actually, I think he's out of contract now somewhere. I don't think he's actually in contract at all. We need a dominant centre half. We do need a dominant centre half coming in this week. Yes, I don't think Scott's right. Scott is right. Sorry, we can't afford Patterson's wages. William says here, Patterson back from Everton. Fuck, he's injured more than Roof. Agreed. He is an awful lot. I've got friends who are Everton fans and they're not overly enamoured with him. I would spend the rest of our money on Shankland and a top defender, says Adrian. Helander is now in Cyprus. He was in Sweden. He's obviously gone to Cyprus now. Someone saying he's gone to an Italian club. Possible. Look, guys, this is where we do. I think we do need a centre back. I don't know at the moment. Who's out there. I haven't really looked into it a great deal. I haven't got a scouting network. I haven't got a series of little guys that run around and get back to me and go, Owen, guess what? Look at this player. Look at that player. So at the end of the day, I don't know. I'd far rather trust someone like Niels Coppen to go and find me a dominating centre back from somewhere, like South America, like Scandinavia, like Eastern Europe. And look, he's back at the club, Scott. He's back at the clubs, Divine is. But we do need a dominating centre half. This defence is a long way short of being good enough. You look at the defence and you look at the goals we've conceded over these 4 pre-season games, and we're just passed through like a knife through butter. The players are constantly out of position. Yesterday, Suter gets under a ball again. Now, there was an excuse for him before that that he was playing on the wrong side. He's playing left side. He's not a left side centre back. We've now moved him to right side centre back, and he's still having the same problem. So look, look, Adrian, I would love to go scouting, buddy. I'd love to go scouting. Love to go scouting, mate. It really would. On that point was brought about Harry Souttar. I was talking to one of my really good mates at work. Is a massive Leicester fan, huge Leicester fan, and he said, do you know what? Take him. He's crap. He's absolute shit. That was his comments. His genuine comments to me were, this is a Leicester fan telling me that I don't think Souttar's the answer either. I really don't. Dessers is happy at Rangers, need an offer of big wages, can't see it. I don't think Dessers is going anywhere, if I'm being honest with you. I think Dessers will still be here at the end of next season. I really do. I can't see him going anywhere. I genuinely can't. Let's have a look where Philippe Helander currently plays his football. He is currently with Ammonia Nicosia. That's where you go. He's with Ammonia Nicosia. He's under contract with them until 2026. There you go. That is according to Transfer Markets. We know that's accurate. He's under contract at Ammonia Nicosia. I do want to see us bring in. A dominating centre back. It for me is an absolute must. Between now and the end of the transfer window, it is an absolute must that we get a player a dominating centre half, someone who's going to come in and be the leader of this defence. At the moment, it looks leaderless, it looks rudderless, it looks severely lacking. And like I said, the positional sense of them, the all-round player of them is absolutely shocking at this moment in time. That's where Helander currently is, guys. For those of you who don't know where he is, he's at Ammonia Nicosia. Robert, I think he might be a little bit too old to bring back, if I'm being honest with you, mate. Bringing John Gregg back, I think that might be very, very much a situation that is not going to happen. Not going to happen there. I would love a player like him back. Of course I would. Alan says Harry Souttar was on 40k last season in the Championship. His wages are now back up to 60k a week in the Premiership. Exactly. And he's shit. He's not a very good player. Trust me. That is Leicester fans telling me that he's not a very good player at all. Signed Tommy Robertson. Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to get. I don't want to get into politics, guys. One of the worst back lines I've seen in Rangers history, says Gary. Absolutely. Alex says Dessers 2 finishes against Burnley McClass. Just wish he would do that all the time. Agreed, buddy. So do I. Right, guys, let's grasp another nettle on the Rangers wheel. Let's talk Mr. Shushberger. Let's talk the prospective transfer of Mr. Todd Cantwell. Quick drink there. Right. I like Todd Cantwell. You know I do. You know I'm a big Todd fan. Of course I am. Now, Derek Ferguson has been talking about Todd Cantwell and what Philippe Clement said. This is what he said. One thing I will say is, even if you go back about 6 to 7 months on social media, as we know, Todd likes to go on. He comes on and says he loves the club and he's going to be a Rangers supporter for life. You wonder what's changed his mindset over the last 6 months. It's maybe a role that he thinks he can't fulfill under the current manager. Ferguson then went on to say this. He went on to say, it's a shame because I think there's a player in there with Todd Cantwell. Yes, I wish he wouldn't go on the social media, but that's players in this day and age. It's a shame because he's one of our better players, and that's him not even training with us. He's playing with the B team. Now, look, it looks like Cantwell is going. Cantwell has asked for a transfer. Cantwell wants to leave. And you know what? If he wants to leave, let him go. I go for this this philosophy. I'm a big fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers in the NFL. The head coach there, Mike Tomlin, always says this. He says, we want volunteers, not hostages. Volunteers, not hostages. And if he doesn't want to stay, if he doesn't want to play, then let him go. Get rid, sell. Okay. Now, the problem for me is what has happened over the last 6 months that has changed his mindset so fundamentally from being a player that loved the club, that wanted to play for the club, to suddenly been a player that doesn't want to play for Rangers anymore, a player that doesn't want anything to do with the club, wants to leave. Why is it, that suddenly changed? And yeah, I agree, Del. I agree. If he doesn't want to be here, the door's open, let him go. Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree. If he's asking to leave, let him go. 100%. But you're right. This is one of the things here. Dono makes a point here. Bad man management. Bad man management. Yeah. Look, you can think what you want about Todd Cantwell. I think there's a lot of rewriting of history going on with Todd Cantwell at the moment. You know, Todd has been a good player for us. He has. Yes, he hasn't been consistent enough. Yes, he hasn't always produced it. But you know, at the end of the day, something has clearly happened in the relationship. And Clement can sit there and say, there's nothing wrong with the relationship. We're all getting on really well. We're doing brilliantly. We're happy and all this. He can say that as much as he wants, but it's clearly not true. It's clearly not 100% true because something has clearly gone wrong there. You know, with the manager and the player for this to happen all of a sudden. Now, what we have to do realistically now is get a good fee for him. And my worry is that if we can't get rid of him soon, that we're going to be sat with a player we're paying 25 grand a week to, who's sat in the B team and not actually doing anything for us. And that is the biggest problem for me. Again, this is one that is being talked of. Now, the only link to this point that I've seen for Cantwell is to Cardiff City. They have apparently have put an interest into him. I think he will get a move. I think it will be to the English Championship. It's just a shame. It is a shame. I'll be honest with you. Like I said, I like Todd Cantwell. I think he's a player who has the ability, has all the talent in the world, but at times he kind of just his attitude, his mood, he just get in the way of him being a top player. And maybe that's just what you expect with Todd Cantwell, because you know, if Todd Cantwell was the player that we've seen at times, the player that runs at opposition players, goes past them, leaves them for dead, plays those no-look killer passes, etc. If he was doing that every single game, then maybe he wouldn't be at Rangers. Maybe he would be at Arsenal or Chelsea or Manchester City or Manchester United because he's world class. But he's not, because he doesn't do it consistently. He does it in flashes. He does it in bits. And that is the issue with Cantwell. He's not producing on a thing. It's sad. It's really, really sad. John Lammy says, maybe Clement has said to him to calm down on social media, but Todd hates getting told what to do. Let's just get rid and bring in someone who wants to be here. Agreed. He was used to sitting on the bench, getting easy money at Norwich, loves the extreme highs at Rangers, but can't hack the lows when the pressure's on. Good point. Butler's legs are like the Clyde Tunnel. Tell us why we would like to hear your opinion on why. Well, I'm not quite sure on that one. Rangers is too big a club for him, says Gary. Will you leave the girls alone? They're doing well. Won't judge Clement till January at the earliest. Afternoon, Philippe. How are you doing? What we got here? We've got. I feel he can get us there with his team, bunch of wannabes. What has Cantwell done in games he've had to win? I mean, this is the point, Robert. I think, you know, in old firm games he hasn't turned up, and that's the issue. And it was the same that used to go about Malik Tillman, wasn't it? You know, people who wanted Malik Tillman said, "Yeah, Dougie, I'm struggling to keep up with all the comments, mate. I am really struggling to keep up with the comments. I apologize, but you try talking, bringing up comments, producing, keeping on top of everything else, looking at sound levels, everything. It's really hard to do. And I apologize if I've missed all the comments, Dougie. I'm really sorry. John, if I could choose one of those players, I would take Miovski. Okay, that's who I would take. I would take Miovski. Okay. I think he's a quality player. He's fast. He's strong. He knows where the goal is. I would definitely take Bojan Miovski if it was a choice between those players. In fact, let's get a poll. I'm going to try and get a poll up as quick as I can as we come towards the end of this podcast, guys. Reminder, we will be back at 8:30 tonight for the final word. We're going to look more at the team as it is at the moment rather than transfers, at the players, at the defence, and everything else. We'll look at the defence depth charts and things like that tonight, and that's what we're going to look at on the final word tonight. So rather than look at transfers tonight, this is why I want to do two separate pods tonight. Today I wanted to do one where we're talking about transfers, and then one where we talk more about the situation with transfer, and one with the team. So look at in Champions League, etc. So that's what I wanted to talk about. That's why I wanted to sort of separate these out. Paul has gone now. 63% of you do want Jordan at Rangers. 37% of you don't want Jordan. So the majority of people do want him here at the club. We're going to do one last poll whilst we talk through the last couple of things on this. Bring up this here. So the question I'm going to ask is, which striker would you sign if you could? So spell the word could right would be really helpful. The choices are going to be Shankland, Miovsky, and Rachmani. I'm going to try and spell his name. Here we go. And then I'm also going to have none of the above. So we're going to, there you go, 4 choices. The new poll is up. Guys, get voting in the new poll, interactive poll up there. So yeah, where are we up to? Well, it says I've got Camel on the brain. It says Miovsky as well. Absolutely, 100%. I do love a poll, mate. The reason I run so many polls is to keep you guys involved. I like to get your opinion. Like I've always said, one of the things I like to do is get your opinions, get your views, guys. I'm not arrogant. I'm not someone who thinks that I know everything. I don't know everything. I'm not pretending I know everything. I genuinely don't know everything. I don't. I really don't. But look, at the end of the day, you guys have got just as much right. As I've said a number of times, I can sit here and talk shit for an hour. I can talk shit for 2 hours. I can sit and talk shit all day. Of course I could. But I'm the one who's lucky enough to do this and to set this up, but I'm nothing without you guys, nothing without you guys contributing, nothing without you guys supporting, without you guys subscribing, smashing the like, etc., etc. Jordan will be a good signing. Need that experience in the middle of the park. Baron, Raskin, Diamande, all under 23. Absolutely, 100%. Good lad. Good shout from John J there. Brilliant shout. Yeah. Right. So Rachmani, that's the other one, isn't it? That is currently doing the rounds. Rachmani went now. Look, Rachmani should be an absolute must, mate. I mean, let's face it, guys. He got injured, didn't he? He got injured, and then he came back from injury. So at the end of the day, right, he's a perfect player for Rangers. We love an injured player. We love signing an injured player. But apparently he is back in training now. So where are we up to with that? It seems that this Rachmani deal won't go. What did I do for the Berlin game? I watched it on my phone at work on Rangers TV. What do I use for a camera on here? I use a webcam, a Logitech webcam, mate. That's what I use. Prime Time says, I can't believe how quiet things in Gemini for Miovsky. I thought for sure someone would have been. I can't believe he's still at Aberdeen. I really can't believe he's still at Aberdeen. I really don't. I don't get it. Don't get it. Don't get it at all. Don't get it. Yeah, I agree with this Mark. Scott Hammond makes a brilliant point. Here. Scott Hammond says in the live chat, a great point coming up in this minute in time here. He says, what would the sheep demand in money for him, for us? Yes, Scott, that's a great point, mate. They'd want 9-10 million from him, I think, at least, for Miovsky. That is the big issue for me. They'd want a lot of money for him because they see us as easy option, don't they? They see us as someone they can rip money out of. They'd put the Rangers tax on. Rachmani is back in training, apparently. This is another name that keeps cropping up time and time. Keeps coming up time and time again. He looks a good player. He looks a good player. He looks quick. He looks like he knows where the goal is. He looks like he knows how to score goal. My one worry again about Rachmani is the fact that how much would he cost, and could he hit the ground running in? Hi guys, welcome back. Sorry about that. The internet just went completely crashed, absolutely crashed there. I do apologise, but the internet completely just died and crashed. So on the Rachmani thing, I think Rachmani is a player who I think could come in and do a job. I definitely think he could. I just again think this is one that is a situation where, is he realistically going to come? You've got a situation where Neil Lennon is his coach. Lennon hates Rangers. Um, how much money do they want for him? Is it 7 million? Is it 8 million? Are Rangers going to splash 7-8 million on Rachmani? That's the problem. For me, it's a big one. It's a real big one. It's a difficult situation for me. I would love Rachmani to be signed, but I do still think that unless Dessers or someone else leaves, I don't think we'll buy any more strikers. I genuinely don't think that the club will buy any more strikers. I don't think I think that Rachmani would be a good signing, but I don't think that would happen. Miovski, Aberdeen want silly money. We nick Bowen from them. They must be furious. Absolutely. Toply. 100%. Right, guys. Look, that's pretty much it for this podcast because I'm getting pissed off with the internet and pissed off with everything else that's not working properly at the moment. We'll be back tonight at 8:30 for the final word. So please come and join us for the final word. Yeah, I hope I'm wrong as well, Del. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. Scots Viking, that's a great point. That is a great point. If it was called Shanklandinho, we would have. I agree with that, buddy. Right, guys. So Alex says 5 million is the top for Rachmani. Look, if we can get him, I would love us to. And I do hope I'm wrong as well, but I do just start to think that we're going to stay with just these three strikers. I really do think this is the situation that we're going to be stuck with just these three strikers. But yeah, Philippe is 100% spot on. We do need to sort the defence. Right, guys, we'll be back at 8:30 with the 8:30 show talking about the week that was. Guys, look, can I just say something? There's been a lot of mention of politics in the chat today. Sharpie, I've read your comment. Right. If you want to know my views on politics, then message me about it on X or email me, or if you're on Facebook, guys, if you're on Facebook and anybody's on Facebook, look for Owen James. That's my name on Facebook. Get on there. I'm reticent. It's difficult because if I come out and say anything, it could get me taken down. It's a very controversial one. But if you want my views on politics on the person you're mentioning, then message me. Right, guys, thank you very much for watching. We'll be back at 8:30. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Sorry about the technical difficulties we've had during that. The internet is shit. I do apologize. On the way out, if you could smash that like, and remember always, we are the people.